It's 7 a.m. and your alarm is already screaming. You haven't even opened your eyes and your brain is running a to-do list. 40 hours a week, emails before breakfast, a body that aches by Thursday. You assume this is just what it means to be human. But 20,000 years ago, hunter-gatherer was still asleep. And by the time your workday ends tonight, theirs would have been over for hours. How is that possible? How did people with no machines, no electricity, no grocery stores work less than you? The answer breaks almost everything you think you know about survival. You picture cavemen locked in a constant, brutal grind. Every hour spent clawing for food, every day one bad hunt from starvation. That image is mostly wrong. And the real story is about to change how you see your own Tuesday. In the 1960s, anthropologist Marshall Solins studied hunter-gatherer societies still living traditionally, like the Jew/Hoansi of the Kalahari. What he found stunned him. Adults worked roughly 15 to 20 hours a week to meet their basic needs. Not 80, not 60, 20. He called it the original affluent society. Not because they had more stuff, because they wanted less and got it faster. So where did the rest of their time go? This is where it gets strange. Anthropologist Richard Lee, working alongside Solins, tracked the daily rhythms of the Kung San people in the 1960s and found something close to a modern fantasy. Long stretches of rest, hours of storytelling around the fire, time spent on tools, jewelry, music, simply being with each other. Your ancestors weren't lazy. They were efficient. They gathered what they needed, then they stopped. Compare that to your week. You don't stop at enough. Why? Because your body evolved for a world of scarcity, but your environment is now built on abundance and on infinite asking. Every notification, every deadline, every email is a request your prehistoric brain still treats like an emergency. You're not built for 40 hours of low-grade alarm. Nobody is. Here's the twist that really should unsettle you. Agriculture, the thing you were taught was humanity's great leap forward, may have made life harder. Archaeologist and physiologist Jared Diamond called the shift to farming the worst mistake in the history of the human race. Once people settled into farms, work hours climbed, diets narrowed, diseases spread through crowded villages, and skeletons from early farming communities show more malnutrition and physical strain than their hunter-gatherer ancestors. You traded freedom for food security and then kept trading generation after generation until 40-plus hours became the invisible default you never agreed to. So why can't you just live like the Johansi? Because their 15 hours bought direct survival, meat, water, shelter, 100 invisible middlemen standing between your labor and your needs. The hours didn't disappear. They got rerouted through systems your ancestors never had to navigate. But your body never got the memo. It still expects rest after effort. It still expects a stopping point. That ache you feel by Friday isn't weakness. It's 20,000 years of biology asking a simple question: why are we still going? Think about what enough even meant to a hunter-gatherer. A successful afternoon of gathering filled the day's needs. There was no concept of saving for retirement, no abstract future to fund. Once the basket was full, the work was done. Compare that to a modern paycheck, which never quite buys safety, only the postponement of worry. Economist and anthropologist research into modern foraging societies, including later work building on Solins and Lee, has repeatedly found the same pattern. People stop when satisfied, not when exhausted. You, on the other hand, have been trained to treat tiredness as the only acceptable reason to stop. And it isn't just hours, it's attention. A hunter-gatherer's labor had a beginning and an end you could see: a hunt, a harvest, a fire built. Your labor often has no visible edge. The inbox refills the moment you empty it. There's always one more task waiting just past the horizon, which means your brain rarely gets the clear signal that ancient brains were built to expect. This is finished, now rest. Knowing this won't shrink your inbox, but it might change how you see the exhaustion. You're not failing some natural standard of human endurance. You're operating outside the conditions your mind and body were shaped for, and your fatigue is not a personal flaw. It's a mismatch between an ancient nervous system and a world that forgot how to stop. So tonight, when you finally close your laptop, picture that hunter-gatherer from 20,000 years ago. They've been off the clock since early afternoon, not because they had less to do, because they understood something you're only now relearning. Enough is a finish line, not a moving target.